Ana y Maeva. Hello and welcome everyone. We're so pleased to have you here as a part of our monthly webinar series with Pacific Storytelling. My name is Renata West. I am a New Zealand native who's lived in Los Angeles now for the last 8 years. And I founded Pacific Storytelling to share the stories of the South Pacific with all of my travel advisor friends across North America. We are privileged today to venture to one of the most sacred sites of all of Polynesia, the island of Raiatea, where every Polynesian person can trace their ancestry back to, including myself. So I'm very excited. We've got a couple of very special guests who will be joining us all the way from Tahiti. We have Merihani Paka, the director of Tahiti Islands Travel, and Rani Chavez, who is a wellness and cultural expert from Tahiti as well. And many of you will know Rani from her time working at Tahiti Tourism. If you do have any questions or comments or technical concerns, please let us know via the question and answer or the chat function, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. But before we begin, we want to just re-emphasize Tahiti and her islands are open and have been open since July of last year. It is a country which has really changed the travel protocols. They ensure that your clients are safe by requiring a test 24 hours before departure to Tahiti and another test on arrival in Tahiti as well. So you do require proof of vaccination also, and having that testing. When you get on that plane, you realize that everyone is as conscientious as yourself, and that you're heading to a destination which we really want to protect the local people, but also enjoy the beauty of the environment down there as well. You can get to Tahiti via the west coast of the United States on the non-stop services via Los Angeles, and that is with Air Tahiti Nui and Air France, or via San Francisco with French Bee and United. So there are 4 major airline servicing Tahiti from the North American market at the moment, and roughly about an 8-hour flight down. So very, very convenient, very, very accessible. When you think about Tahiti, you think of it being a small place, and in reality, it's a very vast and varied proposition. Over 100 islands, and in this series, Beyond Bora Bora, we are going to focus on some of these lesser known islands and give you the inside tips and tricks and our personal information to make this the holiday of a lifetime for your clients. So where we are going to first is the island of Raiatea. And it's an island, as I said, very special to all Polynesian. But I want to hand it over to our special guests, Merihani and Rani, who will go through this in a little bit more detail today as well. Merihani, are you there?
Of course I am. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here. So Yorama everyone, and Paul, I am happy that you've joined the webinar today. So just to tell you quickly a little bit about Tahiti Island. We're a small inbound operator based in Tahiti. And our mission statement is really to provide and design a unique programs for our visitors coming to the island. So it's not just about going to a resort or doing a shark and ray watching. It's really to experience what the destination has to offer, and it's the culture, it's being with the people, and it's meeting with them. And with Rani, we'll tell you a little bit about something that we've worked on. So today I'm very happy to talk about the island of Raiatea. And Ren, can you can you slide? Or can I do it on my side? Okay. So the island of Raiatea, as Ren said, is very, very important to all Polynesians. We have celebrations throughout the year, and each Polynesian would find its roots in Raiatea. The first picture that you see on your left is a picture from Tapu Tapuatea, which is the most sacred maret throughout Polynesia. And it used to be the cultural and political center of Polynesians. The flower in the middle is called the Tiariapetahi. It is endemic to Raiatea, and it is found only on one mountain, which is called Temehani. And far right is the river Fa'aroa, which is the only navigable river throughout French Polynesia. So we're going to explore the island. In yesteryear, Raiatea was also called Hawaii. And you would hear that very often. The name Hawaii, for example, is from Hawaii also, and so there is a connection to of the different islands in the Polynesian Triangle that is related to Raiatea. So we'll start first with the accommodation. Raiatea, right?
Miri, if you just click the screen, you should be able to control it.
Oh, see, I tried, but it didn't work.
Okay.
Maybe it's COVID. Is it? Okay, voila. So in terms of accommodation, definitely Raiatea is not a place for a five-star property as you would find in Bora Bora. We have some very nice lodges and upscale accommodation. But Raiatea is also the best place to start a cruise with, and I forgot to include a picture of the different catamarans that can be booked. But a lot of our guests, of the Tahiti Islands Travel guests, would visit the island starting in Raiatea on a catamaran and sailing throughout Raiatea, Ta'a, going onwards to Bora Bora. So I would like to start first with what you have on your screen, and this place is called Motunono. Motunono is a private island. It features two villas and one main building, which would have the kitchen. It's the main gathering place where you would have dinner or breakfast or lunch. It has a beautiful lounge, but Motunono is on its own private island, and you can see from there a private beach. It's actually one place that we are trying to promote very much. The property opened in October, and we had our first guest there in December. The minimum stay is 4 nights, but it truly is an escape, private escape. And is that Motunono is in Raiatea, so it is very close to Tahiti. Usually for private homes, private villas, you would go to the Tuamotu or in Bora Bora. But at least what we like with Motunono is that Raiatea is an island that has a lot to offer in terms of culture, but also activities on the water and on land. So voila. First we have Motunono. I had the chance to stay there, and it was a true escape to paradise, within paradise. The food is extraordinary. I've had meals that I've never had before, with a blend of tastes, with a blend of flavors, and it's also a journey, the culinary journey, I would say. Then we have our other property that we also.
Miri,
Yeah?
can I interrupt, and can I just say one thing I forgot to mention is that the island of Raiatea is a very quick 45-minute flight from Tahiti. So it's very accessible. When you are on Raiatea, it's just on the other side of the island to the airport. And that's about another 45-minute transfer. It is on its own island, but it's very, very accessible to Raiatea. It's a 5-minute boat transfer
Right.
from the mainland. So very, very accessible to civilization and all of the needs that you might have in town, but on its own private island. Having only 3 bungalow or villa, this is the perfect COVID safe style of accommodation. If you have clients who are a little bit more cautious and want to stay in their bubble and not necessarily mix with other hotel guests, this will be the absolute perfect match for those types of clients. I also was able to go there with Merihani. It's brand new, so everything is sparkling and absolutely tip top and beautiful. And the food, I will say, definitely is incredible. And they utilize a lot of the local flowers and herbs to add a very unique flavor to the food that you won't find anywhere else. Not even really necessarily in the larger hotels in Tahiti, because these are very delicate flowers and you don't get a lot of that type of ingredient. So definitely a fantastic experience, very, very COVID safe and very, very accessible to Tahiti, and definitely caters. I just saw a question about special dietary, definitely caters to your special dietary requests.
That's right. And we got the chance to visit their garden, yeah, Ren.
We did. We walked
So,
the garden with the chef, and we met
mhm.
the chickens, and we also got to meet the crabs who tried to steal all the vegetables.
That's right.
But they make a wonderful linguine, so I am told. Um, yes, it is a fantastic island. It is very vast. You know, there are only three villa, but you have a lot of space. You have your own beaches and lots of area to run around as well. We have
Yeah,
one other live question, Merihani. Is Motunono all inclusive?
it is all inclusive. Drinks, breakfast, all the meals, the transfers. There are also some activities that are included. I think you have a massage during the stay. You have yachts, not yachts, kayaks, set-up paddles, and one. Actually, they have a selection of activities, of excursions that can be done. And we can send you the list of the excursions, of course, but it is indeed all inclusive. A minimum stay 4 nights, and it can accommodate a maximum of 6 guests. All right. The Opo'a beach is obviously in Opo'a. I got the chance to stay there as well. It is really how can I explain? It's remote, but the feeling that you have is quite unique because it has this, as you can see, and the pictures are just what you would see. You have it's like a little village in a little bay, and the food there was also very nice. And the experience, you don't have a minimum stay. You have bungalows that are right on the beach, and you have garden bungalows. But it's a very, very nice place, very comfortable, and it is a place that we would recommend for maybe 2 or 3 nights. But we would recommend that you rent a car so you can drive around the island and visit everything that is in that area. So in that area, you have the Mareta Putapu. We will talk about it. You can visit also the Fa'aroa Valley, and you have a look back from there. But there is a lot to see even on the island of Raiatea, and it's not often talked about. And I think that's why it's important for us, for Ren and myself, and with Rani also, to really have one webinar on Raiatea, because it's not just a stopover on your way to Taha, or but there are things to do in Raiatea, and we'll talk about it. The place that we'd like to talk about is the Raiatea Lodge. It is the first time I went to the Raiatea Lodge. It was probably 15 years ago when I was starting in the industry. And already then the hotel was very nice, very colonial. But over time, they've added bungalows, they have done refurbishments in the rooms, and this is truly what you see. What you see is what you get. And the food also in Raiatea, and I was very, very surprised, pleasantly surprised. The Raiatea Lodge and the Opua was very, very nice. Impressive, in fact, for a land that is not so well known. But the Raiatea Lodge is a place that it's actually it's working really well. But it is another escape in the islands and particularly in Raiatea. It has a very, very colonial style. You have beach, unfortunately, but just across from the road, from the hotel, you have a pontoon and you can snorkel from there, or you can use your kayaks to go to the neighboring motu. So this is what we have to offer in terms of accommodation. And of course, we need to probably go again and find some other gems to experience.
Absolutely. And these are fantastic value for money, these properties as well. I think you would agree with me, Medihani, for a client who may not necessarily have unlimited budget. This gives you an authentic feeling of Tahiti and of Raiatea as well, the types of accommodation. So we've gone from motu nono, absolutely top luxury, all the way to Raiatea Lodge, which is comfortable and very typical accommodation.
Honestly, I was in Raiatea in November. The first time I went to Raiatea was when I was a child, and I have to say that I was amazed. Truly, I was very surprised, because I realized that Raiatea is unknown, even by us locals, but there's so much to do. The accommodation is very pleasant. It actually exceeds people's expectations, just like it exceeded mine. And there are things to do, and this is where we're moving now. We're going to talk about experiences in Raiatea. So first of all, you have to remember what Ren said. It is really the center of culture for Polynesians. Now, when I talk about Polynesians, I'm not just talking about Tahitians. I'm talking about Hawaiians in the north, Maori in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and also in Rapa Nui. We have, for example, when Hokulea returns to Hawaii after its sailings, or on its way to its sailing So just come back about accommodation. Remember again, Raiatea is not the place where you find 5-star properties, but you will find authenticity and a lot of discoveries that are related to culture and to nature also. So the first stop that I'd like to tell you about is the Mareta Putapuatea. I do not expect you to remember that word. But already in that name you have tapu, which means sacred. Sacred atea, and it's for all of the Polynesians. It's the gathering place, because it is from there that a lot of the migrations would start. But there's so much to learn, and I personally, being born and raised in Tahiti, all the stories, but to have to know more about us, about where we're coming from, there is no better place than to start at its cradle. So we're working with guides, with passionate children from Raiatea, who will tell you about Tapu Tapuatea, who will tell you about the rites that were happening there, who will tell you about stories and legends and traditions. For your information, Tapu-Tapu is also part of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and it is to West Polynesians, but it's also to the humanity. After Tapu-Tapu, see, even I get mixed. We have the mountain of Timihani. Timihani is another important place for us. When somebody passes away, somebody dies, there are different places that the soul will go to. For example, here in Tahiti, the first place would be at the point where you currently have the continental. From there, the soul goes to Mo'ataputa in Moorea, and from Moorea, it will go to Timihani, the mountain, and from Timihani, it will enter Rohutu, which is the seventh heaven. And Mount Timihani also is home to the endemic flower, Tiare Apetahi, which you see here. And I hope that the next time I go to Mount Timihani and see it, it's being protected. But Timihani, you also have a lot to learn and a lot to hear about. Timihani is also the mountain that is linked entirely to Tapu-Tapu. And then you have the Fa'aroa River, which, like I said, is the only navigable river throughout French Polynesia. And in traditionally, that some of the news sailed to the Pacific Ocean, also started in Fa'aroa. But you have a big valley to visit, and a lot more stories to hear. What I would like to talk about now is a very exclusive program that we have worked on with Rani, and it is a sacred spiritual and wellness retreat that will take place in Raiatea. Before I hope I'm not gonna cry because the spirit and what we call the mana, which is a power that led our ancestors, that guided our ancestors on the oceans and also all throughout the islands, is what we want to share with you during this retreat. So I am going to turn the time over to Rani to tell you more about this exclusive program that we have worked on year to put this program together. We have visited many places with the people that are going of this. So Rani, I'm going to turn the time over to you.
Hi everyone. It's really a great pleasure to be here and be able to share this program that Melihani and I have worked on for, as she said, over a year, because basically the idea of doing something started a little before COVID. And then, you know, COVID happened, so everything got a little postponed, but it actually gave us more time to work on it and to really find who we wanted to work with and where we wanted to take everyone coming on the retreat. But before I go on, I would like to invite you to sit tall if you're on a chair, and place, you know, your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly, and close your eyes and just take a moment to pause, to feel your breath, letting it expand as you inhale, letting your heart expand as you inhale. And then exhale through the mouth, let the belly come towards the spine. And once again, feel the breath, feeling your belly and then your lungs and your heart space. And exhale, let everything go, all tensions, all stress. Deeply. And really feel your breath coming from the root of the spine, all the way up to your heart. And exhale, let everything go. And slowly open your eyes. Um, just a little break, and to put you in the mood for this program we've put together. So we have chosen Raiatea and Tahiti for that retreat. And so we will not be going to, Bora. Our retreat is called Sacred Life. And Sacred Life is really an invitation to reconnect to our essence, to our truth, and to who we are. COVID has taken a lot of things for everyone throughout the planet. We have to really, get back to us, get back to, who we are, because, all the joy, all the love, everything is inside. And very often, we turn our power outwards and we wait for everything happening around us to be a source of, of joy, of happiness, love, and really, what we want to do through this retreat is allow everyone to reconnect to nature, to reconnect to this power that is around us and that is also within. So it will be one of those retreats where we will be doing, a lot of postures and, that you can see on social media for yoga. I have studied in India, and it truly has changed my life in a way that I would never have expected. And I was in the street.
That's how we met.
And that's how we met. and really, it has taken me to a whole other level. And when I came back to Tahiti after studying in India, it just became so obvious that, it was a different path. And since 2018 now, I've been sharing the teachings from the Himalayas. But being a Polynesian, I have also integrated a lot of the Polynesian wisdom, because in the end, all of these, First Nations and indigenous population, it's all the same wisdom, it's all the same way of life. And what really stands out is that connection with nature. And even in Tahiti, we have that connection a little bit, like everywhere in the world, social media is strong, everything digital is pretty strong. And there is a lot of good with technology and what it brings to us, because we get so much possibilities of training if we choose the right outlets. And this invitation to come to join us in Tahiti and Raiatea is really to bring you back to the essence, and awaken things that may not be aware that we have inside. The guided meditations, there will be some yoga, and I've studied yoga from the Himalayan tradition, and it's Himalayan Kundalini and Kriya Yoga, and it does include a lot of pranayama, which is all these breathing techniques, and now it's become very popular through different people here as well, but it really all originated in the Himalayan mountains. And there will be once again meditations, connections with the earth, with nature, with all the elements, connection to the people, because it's a very important part of the program and the visit to the islands of Tahiti. I mean, if you've been here, you know how amazing the people are in the islands and how passionate they are about their history and their culture. All that Polynesian wisdom and what we call sacred talks, because it's coming from the heart and from the wisdom and all the ancestry we have in the islands. There will be excursions that will really take us, very deep into that connection and nurturing that connection as well. And everything has been really designed and curated to provide a beautiful, nurturing, nourishing environment for everyone joining to really grow and expand. and really let go of everything in here, in this beautiful, beautiful spiritual center that the islands of Tahiti are. So we will be spending 3 nights in Tahiti and going to places that, even some locals don't go to. Very, very sacred places. We will be, having some beautiful rituals as well, rituals that are inspired from Polynesia and what we have here, but also from, the yoga traditions. We will have, some fire ceremonies. We will have some hikes and swimming and, cleansing in the waterfalls. So it will be a really deep experience. It's not just, and think, oh, yoga is not for me. I'm not flexible. I'm like this or like that. It really opens everyone. That's really important. When I started teaching, a lot of students would come and say, oh, I've never done yoga, but I think it's so hard. And no, yoga is not hard, because yoga basically is a union with, everything around us, harmonizing our mind, our body and our soul, so that we live the best life ever. So yoga is really about finding that optimal living, and just stepping out of the box and living truly, with passion and with joy and with all that love. And that's really our invitation. We don't want anyone to feel limited because they have done any yoga. It is really, once again, an experience that is accessible to everyone. And all you need basically is just open mind, open heart, and that will to come here and discover and explore and just transform. And COVID has been a very good teacher in that way. I mean, we've all lost, dear ones through COVID and everything else, not just COVID. So it is really an invitation to, come and live and feel the pulse of nature in your heart, and, feel, all these waterfalls and all the water in your veins, and really feel the life. And how beautiful life is, and feel that miracle that everything happening within us and around us is. And so that's really our invitation. It will be a very small, intimate group for this very first experience, and it will be something truly amazing. And we have worked on an itinerary and a program that we give ourselves, the flexibility and the space to, to modify if it's needed based on everyone's experience as well. But there will be, visits to sacred sites, amazing cultural experts joining us as well. I will be guiding all the meditations and rituals and the yoga sessions. But just, know that the whole experience will be about yoga, which is just living that optimal life and, living in connection with nature. So it's really, honoring who we are, honoring nature. And the islands of Tahiti are just this, beautiful Garden of Eden. And for us, I mean, being born here is like, wow. Because there is such abundance, and nature here is so generous in the flowers, in fruits, in the food, in the ocean as well. It will be also a nice culinary escape. And it's not going to be a vegan or vegetarian retreat. We want everyone to enjoy what they want to enjoy, and we picked places that offer, great food. Indeed, we will be staying at Le Tahiti by Pearl Resorts, and we have chosen this resort purposefully because it is located in Matapai Bay, and it is surrounded by these beautiful volcanic rocks and mountains. The sand is black sand, and black sand is really coming from that volcanic grounds. And we had chosen in Raiatea, the Raiatea Lodge, because it's an amazing location, and it is, close to a lot of the places we are going to visit when we are in Raiatea. So it will be taking you to, different marais like Tapu Tapu in Raiatea. We will be hiking Mount Temehani as well. And everything is an invitation to really, go deep inside and connect with, everything and everyone around. And so that's all that's all I can share.
Rani,
and of course, if there are any questions.
Yeah, we just had one question come in particularly. I want to let everyone know that yes, we will have this available for you to use on your social media or your websites, and we'll get a fact sheet to you as well in the next day or so with all of this information. We're getting a few of those questions. And then Rani, if you could just repeat which accommodation the retreats we're going to be at.
Sure. So in Tahiti, we will be staying at Le Tahiti by Resort, which is also known as former Radisson property, on the east coast of Tahiti. So very close to, Nurse Point and the lighthouse that we have on Tahiti. Beautiful property. All the rooms there have ocean views, which is great. And the location is just, prime location. There is a beautiful black sand beach. They have a great spa at the resort as well. Although we will be, having a lot of different excursions, but there will be some time at leisure as well, so that everyone has the time to integrate and absorb all that is, coming in from the different experiences. And in Raiatea, we will be staying at the Raiatea Lodge, which is, located on the, outside of town, about 20 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
20 minutes from town. There's an amazing garden. The food there is absolutely delicious. Accommodations, are very nice and comfortable. There is a beautiful pontoon that leads to the water for those who want, a little morning swim or end of day swim as well. But once again, there will be guided meditations, yoga sessions, mix, Hatha yoga, Yin yoga, Kriya yoga, and Himalayan Kundalini. A lot of different breathing techniques as well, because breathing is one of the most powerful thing we can use in our daily lives. And when we are angry or frustrated, our breath really accelerates and we get and when we are at peace and at ease, our breath is just nice and slow. And so it's something we can all tap into.
It's true. We've had a number of people write in and say thank you for the breathing exercise. I think it's something we all need to be more conscious of, is stopping and just taking stock. And I think that's what this wellness retreat offers. Look, what really appeals to me about this is that you're having access to these cultural experts that are really in demand and hard to track down and get a hold of, and you're having exclusive access with them, their knowledge, and all of the unique essence that they bring with them as well. I love the fact that you're mixing fire and water and the sacred. Also, the fact that you're mixing Polynesian culture with Himalayan and Eastern cultures as well. This really is a dynamic retreat that I don't think anyone has really attempted something like this before. We do have one more question, and this is a good question I think a few people will be asking. Is this for both men and women?
Yes, absolutely. I know that there's, a lot of retreats are, women only or men only, and I've done a few of those as well. But for this one, it is really open to everyone. There will be, single accommodations. If it's a couple coming together, of course, they'll have their own room. And once again, it's really crafted for everyone. You know, we hear a lot about it, you know, sacred feminine, sacred masculine. We want to bring both in because, as I mentioned, you know, yoga is really dualities and you know, connection to everyone. And we want to open to everyone because you know, even during my classes, I've been getting a lot more male students, which I think is amazing, because for a long time, guys thought that yoga is only for ladies because it's too slow or it's too much of this and that. But get out of these cliches about yoga and really, you know, reinforce the fact that it is really how we live. It's not so much, you know, what posture we perform. It is how we live and how we are actually, you know, enjoying everything that life is offering us, and really, you know, living this optimal life. You know, I was at a funeral over the weekend, and one thing that all the people who are leaving their bodies and, you know, flying up to the stars, what they're telling us is just a nice reminder that we have to live and breathe, and we have to feel, and we have to really, you know, enjoy and embrace what we have, because we don't know how long it will last. So we have to reconnect to this sacredness of life, and that is, you know, the purpose and invitation for that retreat.
Just quickly about this retreat, Ren, because you were mentioning about the experts. It took us time to find them experts. And the first person who's going to spiritually open this retreat said, the only reason I'm doing it is because of you. Because of course, you know, they're very sensitive to the efforts we put in promoting not just the islands, but also the spiritual side, the cultural side. And I guarantee you're in for a very unique experience. And hopefully we'll be able to repeat that again over the years, because the islands of Tahiti truly are a spiritual vortex of power and mana. Voila.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, ladies, for sharing that with us. We're getting a lot of interest, and again, we will send all of this through in the next couple of days so that you have this information to discuss with your clients, or maybe you want to come along for yourself as well. But is there, if we'll leave some time, if anyone has any further questions, please do put those questions out to us now. I just want to, it feels, you know, after all of that spiritual enlightenment, I feel a little bit bad for doing this, but just remember that the island of Raiatea is the home of the charter boat side of the business in Tahiti, and it's very popular to take a charter from the island of Raiatea through to Huahine, and then finally ending up in Bora. So yes, we're trying to go beyond Bora, but you know, if you want to include some of that, then definitely think about chartering as well, and we've got some fantastic charter options for you. We're not getting any more questions through, but lots of thank you to both Merihani and Rani. Thank you for your enlightenment and for that moment of pause in our day. It's much appreciated.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. And how we say goodbye in Tahitian is Nana.
Nana.